Woohoo! I am late. I'm sorry. I'm using StreamYard, so I had problems logging in. Listen, I am a fearless woman, but I'm no techie whiz. I mean, I'm trying hard. Like, my sons are 18 and 21. They can figure it out in 2 minutes. For me, it takes me a few hours. So I'm going to do a bunch of lives really over the next week because October 5th, I'll kind of be a little MIA because that's when I start my program. So I want to give you lots of love and lots of mush mush. I will still, of course, keep the Zoom support group. I am making an announcement that based on my testing, we are just going to stick with the nights. The Zoom support group, I'm going to do Tuesday, Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern. They've been pretty fabulous. And it's the same Zoom link under announcements, guys. Anyone in the tribe can join. It's usually 90 minutes. I try to stick it to an hour, but it doesn't seem to work. It doesn't seem to work, but I'll be strict on the 90 minutes. I think that's, that's really sufficient. So we're going to stick with the Tuesday, Thursday Zoom, which I will be able to continue once I launch my program on October 5th, but the lives will probably go down to less. Okie dokie. And at the end of this live, which we're talking about being needy, it was a concept that I really discovered, of course, after I left my husband. I mean, everything I discovered only after I left him. Chamomile tea. I swear by chamomile tea. As many of you guys know, one of the reasons why I launched The Fearless Woman January 2020 is because I was at a place that I was ready to make the impact. When I left my husband, I completely died. I mean, I know what you see, this was Revy, but out here, what you see out here was not inside. Now what's out here is inside, in my mind, in my body, and externally. I often say we have three personas. We have the external world, which we go out to work, we go to the mall, we go to, our kids' school, PTA. That's the hi, sweetheart, hi, Terry. So we have the external persona. We have three of us. There's the external. Then we have the one in our home, the four doors. And usually the one in our four doors, in our four walls rather, to me was fake. Wasn't really me. Because in my whole marriage, I was always walking on eggshells. And then there's the third persona, which is the one that's inside of us. The true fearless woman that wants to come out, that, is afraid to come out, is embarrassed to come out, is thinking people will laugh at her, is thinking she's not good enough. And imagine if all three are different. If the one inside, by the way, the one inside is always the truth. The one inside is different than the one in the four walls of our home, is different to the one outside. Forget about it. You will not make it. This is why we feel depleted and exhausted and wiped out, because you cannot keep up the act. You can't keep it up. Can't keep it up. It doesn't work. The only thing that works is truth. And with truth comes devastation to transformation, which is what my program really talks about. Which, by the way, I'm going to talk about my program at the end. I'm going to do a screen and walk you through it and all that. But that's what it's all about. It's about saying, this is who I am, and having the huevos to do it. And that does take a lot of balls because we've never done it. Like, I was, successful six-figure recruiter. Good morning. Successful six-figure recruiter. You guys can look me up on LinkedIn. I have 15,000 followers. I was interviewed on Fox. I mean, I was the shiznick, but inside I was a dead woman. I often say, success and happiness, it's not about the career and the money. It's about the inside, your soul, your compass, your neshama, your being the same as it is in your home, in your four walls in your home, and the same as outside. So how the hell do you do that? So that's why today we're talking about, to me, the most important concept of being a fearless woman is recognizing that there's needs, and then there's this idea of being needy. And really, That's the core issue, that a lot of us here in this tribe, a lot of women in general, we're needy. We're needy. And a lot of women that have gone through the demise of our marriage and divorce, or, we're in an unhappy marriage, we don't know if we should get a divorce. What's happening is that our needs aren't being met. Okay. So we start thinking that something is wrong with us because our husbands have basically talked us into this idea that something's wrong with us, that we ask too much, right? That we need too much, that we're crazy, that he is giving the love, that he is giving us the support, that he's doing all this stuff. And we're like, God, what's wrong with me? Why can't I just be happy with my lot? Why is this not enough? But meanwhile, inside, we're dying. We're dying a slow death. We have this feeling of emptiness. And we think it's us. We're like, oh, it's our fault. Like something's wrong with us. Well, there's a little bit truth to that. There is some truth to that. But the acknowledgement of, it's not that something's wrong with us, it's that something's not complete within us. And that's because we have unmet needs. So what's the whole concept of being needy and having unmet needs? The concept is that, guys, when we're small and we're kids, when we're little, you know how now we are able to reason with ourselves, now we're able to have that conversation? Like we'll sit there and we'll think and we'll have like a dialogue. Sometimes I even talk, like sometimes my kids walk in on me and they're like, Mom, you're talking to yourself? I'm like, yeah, I'm talking to myself. Like, leave me alone. I can do that. It's my house. Like as grown women, we're able now to have that existential conversation with our thoughts and our feelings. I often say there's the gut, the EQ, there's the IQ, and then there's this third element. And it's having this conversation with what we think and what we feel. Like yesterday, Rivka on the Zoom, it was great. She was talking about how she feels. People don't honor that word enough, feeling. I honor it big time. That to me is my 10 commandments. That to me is my mantra. To me, I want to feel more than I think. Because to me, feeling and emotion is everything. Feeling and emotion is to me the language of the universe. How we speak to the Almighty, to Earth, to everything, to humans. You walk into a room and something's not right, you're gonna feel it. No one's saying it, but you walk in, like maybe there was an argument or someone got pissed or maybe somebody, you walk into that room, you're feeling it. So people do not acknowledge that, and that's a mistake. See, that's something that I do big time. Like when I entered the digital space in 2020, I am coming with my thoughts, my ideas, and for me, this is 10 commandments. It's totally different to what's out there because I'm coming in from a woman's perspective, not a man's, a woman's perspective. Both a woman who has passion, but who's vulnerable, who's sensitive, but who's powerful, who's confident, but is scared. And that's A-okay. See, people then start saying, oh, well, you're masculine. You're like my husband used to say to me, you're like a man. You know what? F you, I'm like a man. There's nothing about me that's like a man. I can't stand that. I don't tolerate that. I may be strong. I may be confident, but I'm a woman. Don't tell me I'm masculine. Maybe I'm a feminist and I have strong, powerful traits, but I'm still a woman. And trust me, I also have the female and the feminine traits as well. And I love both parts about that. I love all parts that maketh the woman. And a lot of us, unfortunately, because of unmet needs, we poo-poo ourselves. Part of it is our environment that, validates that, it is us and something's wrong with us. So we keep getting these limiting beliefs validated by a dysfunctional, toxic boyfriend, husband, lover, friends, and family. And then we start suppressing our emotion versus expressing. And we start building this persona that we're strong and that we're invincible and our feelings don't matter and we got it and we don't ask for help and we figure it out and all this baloney. And all of that is just wrong. It catches up. And that's what happened to me 5 years ago. It caught up. I couldn't get out of, I was so depleted. I stopped. This was even before I left my husband, because I remember coming to the state of saying, this is my lot. This is how it's going to be. This is what the definition of love is. Meanwhile, I was dreaming of love, fantasizing about love. And I remember towards the end of my marriage, I'm like, something is really wrong with that. If I have to fantasize about love when I'm in a marriage, this is on me. So after I broke up with my husband and I went through, the absolute, like, not getting out of bed, losing 20 pounds, like, being in a fetal position, I'd go to my psychologist, and I remember being in a fetus position, gasping for air, thinking I was going to die without a man. That's how bad it was for me. I'd see my therapist and I couldn't function for 3 days, and I remember a lot of it was talking about him and a lot of it was talking about my dad, but no one really talked about me. And a lot of the work that I did was about me. And that's one of the reasons why I'm showing up in 2020, because I don't want to talk about him. I want to talk about you, because this is our opportunity to transform and become a fearless woman. It is our opportunity to grow. So what is the most important part of this process? Is understanding that there's a difference between having needs and being needy. So let's get something very, very straight. I'll finally give you the shiznick. It is imperative that you have needs. Imperative. It is mandatory. It is a God-given right. It is a requirement. It is a rule. It is a law. It is, period, everything that you need to have is to have needs. The problem is to be needy. So the minute you're needy, what happens, you're like totally dehydrated for it. You're totally grasping for it. And the reason you're needy is because you have unmet needs from childhood. That's the truth. A lot of this stems from stuff from when we were little. And a lot of modern culture says, cut the past, forget about it, and just move forward. To me, as a woman, this doesn't work. It doesn't work. To me, the only way I'm able to move forward is close the past, clean it up. But here's the big part of how you do that. It's not about blaming. There was a woman in the program who I remember used these words, culpable. She goes, I want to know how culpable my parents are. Which one was worse, my mom or my dad? She told me how they her and her siblings sat around, and for several hours, they had a discussion as to who was more at fault, mom or dad. I don't know. Do you guys think that's productive? To me, that's totally not productive. It's totally not productive to do that. The only way that you can actually be productive is to think about you. See, I don't care about mom. I don't care about dad. I don't care about anything to do with that. The only thing I care about is little you. That's what I did. I'm like, you know what? What's going on? Like, okay, so I remember with me, I was really afraid that I'd be homeless. Like I had this fear that I would be homeless, like that I would be on the streets, that I would run out of money. Even though you guys, I've shared with you that I've made consistently 6 figures in my recruiting business, something I want to, wind down so I can do this full time. But I was making money, yet deep down I was afraid and I was needy for security. I was needy for money, but I had the money. So something was going on. And I remember when I did the work, I realized that when I was little, we moved around a million times. My father was in the garment industry. We moved from Israel to Hong Kong to Taiwan, back to Hong Kong. And when we were in those places in Hong Kong, I think we moved 6 times. In Israel, we moved 3 times. We lived in hotels. My dad was never around. We were always running. Then I remember in Hong Kong, we actually ran away. My dad owed a lot of money. I wasn't even allowed to tell my friends we were leaving. I was, I think, 14 years old. We immigrated to the States. We had no green card. We had no papers. It was a total dysfunction. And there was no money. Like I remember working at a flower stand, giving my mom money so we would eat because my dad stopped sending my mom money. So when I started understanding the root of that neediness, I started, no, it's not productive. That's right. I started to reason with myself. You see, because when we're little, we're not capable of reasoning with ourselves. But as a grown woman, we can. So now I'm not needy for that. Now I've done the work to say, whoa, you know, what's Rebby like? Every time I reason with myself, I'm like, I have money in the brokerage account. I have money in my SEP IRA. I have money in the bank. You know, I have my house, blah, 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 you know, and I make money. And you know, so I'm not needy for money. I always say a woman who makes her own money, it's very powerful. And it doesn't have to be $1 million. I don't care if you freaking got a cute job at Starbucks and you're walking dogs. If you're making enough to make your nut, to pay your rent, your mortgage, and your food and your bills, you're a free woman, guys. But you got to get there. Otherwise, you'll be needy for money. And if you, and this goes back to the part of meeting a man, a lot of women, when they break up with their husbands and there's an issue of money, they're like, oh, I'll just latch onto a man for money. That's like, now you're going from one fire to the other. You see, when you're needy for something, what happens, you actually repel what you need. So, you know, that's the ironies of ironies. And you are not attracting truly what you need. You're attracting what you don't need because you're needy for it. It's almost opposite. So the secret with being needy, whether it's needy for money, whether it's needy for security, for most of us, I would say 99% of us were needy for love. Not everyone. Most of us were needy for love. And the reason we're needy for love is because we didn't get the right love when we were little from mom or from dad. So what happens when we become young women, we latch onto a man for that. But because we have an unmet need of love from childhood, it's unmet. So now we're needy for love. Guess what we're attracting in our husbands? Also a man who's needy for the same thing. And that doesn't work. If you have a need for love, your partner will have a need for love. Bada bing, we're in business. But if you're needy for love, right? If you're needy for love or both, and he's needy for love, you're going to have dysfunction. And for most of us, that's what happened. Now, I find with women specifically, again, not always, but because we are women that create life, men don't. So because we are women that create life and we're natural nurturers, what happens, we will overgive ourselves to a man to get that neediness met. So we'll work 3 jobs, we'll run around the house making clean, we'll get the kids, get this, take care of the parents, the in-laws, this and that. We're running around, we're having sex, we're doing all this stuff. And he's toxic. You're stupid, you're dumb, you're an idiot. You know, I hate you, why are you here? Everything you do is wrong. And we're like, sorry, sorry, sorry. We'll try harder, we'll try harder. Then we're walking on eggshells because, again, we're so needy for love. But the dysfunction, you see, doesn't work. By the way, that man is also needy for love. Again, I'm not talking about him, but the ironies of ironies is he's needy for love too, but his dysfunction is the vomit. Our dysfunction is to clean the vomit. It's ridiculous. Not anymore. Not anymore. Hell friggin' no. But the only way the neediness gets addressed, guys, is if you fix the neediness. And that's what's really hard. Last night on the Zoom call, the Zoom discussion group, it was so amazing. I don't want to mention her name just in case, but one of the women said, wow, and I even did a takeaway. She said, wow, she goes, I have to go to this foreign land of me and fix my stuff. That's the difference between having needs and being needy. Because when you start going into that foreign land, the MMI, for many of us is foreign. We've never done it. We don't, as Terry said the other day, I don't even know what I like. I don't even know what I enjoy doing. I remember when I left my husband, I went to the grocery store. I'm like, I don't even, do I like milk? Do I like almond milk, cashew milk, non-fat milk, rice milk, yogurt? Do I even like yogurts? Turns out I'm lactose intolerant. I don't even like dairy. I don't have dairy anymore. You know, I'm like, which fruits do I like? I don't even know. I used to buy fruits for my kids, for my husband. I never bought fruits for me. Everything I did for them. But the kids is one thing. I'm okay with the kids. But I have a big problem with what we did with our husbands. So this is why right now, yeah, the transformation program that I do, the tribe, this whole showing up is doing exactly that. It's forcing you to go into that foreign land of you. You don't friggin' know who you are. You don't know what you like. You don't know what you don't like. You don't know what your needs are. You don't know what's unmet, what is met, what's important, what isn't, because you're like desperate for love. Most of us, that's the biggest thing. We're desperate for love, for validation of our worth, to be appreciated, to be supported, to be protected, to feel safe, to feel heard, because we didn't have that growing up. And we certainly didn't have that in our marriages. Of course, if you're in this group, you didn't get it in your marriage because you were needy for it. And I'm explaining to you that when you're needy, you repel what you need. It's opposite. It's opposite. So what happens, you have to do the hardest thing possible, which is you have to fulfill your own needs. And you're like, holy crap, cannot do that. Don't even talk to me about that. You're like, I can't even get my life together. Now you tell me I have to fix my stuff? Yes. Exactly. And guess what? Ladies, oh, you're so cute through the program. The mind-blowing part is that, and by the way, I was right with you. Like when I left my husband, and I was like desperate. I mean, I couldn't function. I couldn't imagine a life without a man. Like I was like right on the dating apps, and I told you what happened in the beginning. I met men that made my husband look like a pussycat. And I took it because those crumbs was like, and were worth it. That's right, Terry. Those crumbs that I got from those men, unfortunately, they were much more than I got from my husband for many years. But it got like a couple months into dating. It was so bad what I did. It was so bad. I think it was like midnight. And there was this one guy that I actually thought was God. I mean, that's how screwed up I was. I actually thought he was God. I wanted him. I wanted to live with him. I was willing to I even lent him $6,000. I had lost my marbles, totally lost my marbles. And I really thought he was God. He was very sexy, very good in bed, a Latin guy. I do recommend Latin experience for all of you guys while you're single and you're going through this. Definitely get a Latin lover. It is a good experience. But I was so thirsty that I lost all reasoning capability, and I was just doing such stupid things. And I remember one time, like I was going to meet him at like 1 a.m, something ridiculous. And I remember texting my one friend. I'm like, oh my God, my kids are with my ex and I'm going out at 1 a.m. What if something should happen to me? I remember texting my girlfriend. I'm like, hey, I just want you to know that I'm going, like, 'cause she knew about this guy. I'm going to meet him right now. And just in case I don't come back, you know where I went. I mean, like, can you understand how psycho that, like now 5 years later, I can realize how psycho that was. I wrote her a text so she knew that where I would go in case I didn't come back, that, she would know that that's where I went. Like everything about that statement made no sense. Thank God she was smart enough and she was awake. She called me. And of course, that's when I ended it with that guy. I'm like, okay, everything's changing. That was really my bottom a couple months after I left him, and I ended it with that guy. Although I don't regret the sex. The sex was good. But I realized how needy I was for love. I realized how needy I was for validation of worth. I realized how needy I was to feel safe, to feel that I had the money, all these things. Also, there was a lot of dysfunction I had with money with my ex because we were in the rental business. I had 20 homes under my name. And there was a lot of chaos. When I left him, my credit score was like, I don't know, 560. It was a disaster. Many of you guys know I just bought my own Mercedes. I put down like 30 G's. My credit score is 799. I mean, come on. I was crying when I signed the paperwork at the Mercedes dealership at Palm Beach. This poor guy was giving me tissues. I'm like, you don't understand. Because I remember he said, oh, congratulations, your credit score is 799 and your interest rate is 2 point, like something ridiculous. It's so cheap. And I burst into tears because just 5 years ago, I remember saying, how am I going to rebuild my credit? How am I going to refinance my home? Like all these crazy things, right? We can absolutely do it because what we do, I was so needy for money. I was so needy. And again, I had money. I just didn't believe I did. This is what's crazy about it. I mean, here I was, this confident woman, 6-figure recruiter, interviewed live on Fox. And I thought I was stupid and dumb. Oh, I believed it. Oh, I believed it. My belief system ruled me. It didn't even matter what was happening. I was certain I was dumb. I was certain that, you know, I couldn't have, it was crazy. And I'm a completely different woman because I said enough. I said enough. And that's what my program is about. The program is for a woman who says enough. There's an Arabic word. I wish Layla was here. I haven't seen her in so long. MMI, that's right. Layla Abaza is from Dubai. Beautiful woman. Khalas, as they say. It's an Arabic word, but it's a Hebrew slang word, which means enough. When you have had enough, and you're at a point that says, you know what? I'm not afraid. Oh, there's my gorgeous girl. Sapiosexual, love that. When you have had enough and you're not afraid to be alone and you're not afraid to die and you're not afraid to face fear, because you know what? If you face it and you screw up, so what? So what? So what? So you know how many times I've fallen? You know how hard this was to build my Fearless Woman tribe? Do you know the hate mail I get on TikTok? You cannot imagine the disgusting things that men and women said to me. Disgusting. Many women like, I can't handle it. What do I do? Oops, my hair always gets stuck in my glasses. I block and delete. I do not stop. I do not stop. And I have made a lot of mistakes and I've fallen a lot. Doesn't matter. I get up, I cry, I get sad, I go through my dips, I go through my double dips, and then I just start again because it's who I am. Because you know what? It is my life, and I'm going to make sure I'm living my life right now, not in the past and not his life. I'm going to now live my life the way I want to. The way I want to. In order to do that, we have to meet our own needs. We have to meet our own needs. We have to get our shit together. We have to make our own money. We have to get our own home. We have to get our finances in order. We have to find love not with a man. And I don't want to say that, but yes, the F you and F off. Sapiosexual, you got to look that up. Sapiosexual is somebody who's very turned on by intellect, a very smart mind. Sapiosexual. So you gotta fix your crap, because a lot of us, we love to say how crappy our husband is. We love to say they're disgusting and they do this and they do that and they talk. And by the way, I do not disagree, but but it doesn't help us. It does not help us to do that. In fact, it hurts us. Because you might get turned on for a minute or two, but at the end of the day, you really feel crappy about yourself. The only way you're going to feel good about yourself is when you start working on yourself. And it's really hard because you just don't know how to do that. You have no idea how to do that. It doesn't matter. Just try a way. Take a step. I know you don't know that step. You've never stepped on that step. You've never done it. Who cares? Try it. See what happens. See what happens. A lot of people are afraid of the rejection. And they're afraid of what other people will think about them. So what happens when you are worried about what somebody else thinks about you? What you're really saying is their opinion is here and your opinion is here. And a fearless woman does not do that. What we do is the other way around. I mean, I always talk about equality, and I do want to be equal. My attitude is not that I'm better than you. I don't, I'm not saying that, but in this very difficult, acute phase of our transformation, in immersion of our pain, that's how we're going to be thinking. Right up here, and everyone else is down here. And then you tackle your neediness, and you get rid of that, because there's nothing more unbecoming than a needy woman. Surely you have a friend or someone you know that's always just needy, and you're like, oh, she's always calling me. She's like, it's like, there's one thing that if maybe somebody's calling you a lot, but there's another thing when they're calling you a lot. Like, there's a difference. There's a difference. And I know you know what I'm talking about. That's when you're looking to have somebody fulfill that for you. Here's the major concept. The only one that fulfills your needs is you, period. A man does not fulfill you. You fulfill you. You fulfill you. When you can understand that and live and breathe it and do it, you will have reached total self-transformation, self-manifestation, self-actualization, and perhaps even go to self-transcendence. I'm a big believer of Maslow's hierarchy of needs. It is a framework that I live and die by. Look him up. I talk a lot about him in my program. The 5 levels of Maslow's hierarchy of needs go from survival needs, which many of us did not have those met when we were little. And after survival needs, we go to safety and security. Same again, a lot of women in this tribe, 1 and 2, basic visceral needs were not met properly, which is why we have dysfunction as a grown woman. And that's gonna, that's changing right now. The 3rd and 4th level of Maslow's hierarchy of needs are society, community, family, intimacy, children, and then ultimately esteem, confidence, worth, uniqueness, identity. Some of us never even get to 4. Some of us never get to 4. Some don't even have 3. Most have 1, but not 1 and 2. It's a crying shame. And then of course the 5th one is manifestation, when you've reached all of them. Survival, safety, society, esteem, which is your uniqueness, and then self-manifestation. That part when you're at peace. That part when you have no judgment. That part when something happens and you're not triggered. You're not reacting. Instead, you're assessing, you're thinking, you're analyzing, you're learning. And then ultimately, of course, it's self-transcendence when now you're empowering and inspiring others to achieve the same. It's good stuff, guys. But it's a very difficult concept. It's a very existential concept. But when you're able to address your neediness and then be clear on your needs, then you're unstoppable. You're unstoppable. Because this is the big mistake a lot of women make too. They break up with their husbands or boyfriends and say, he should have known what I needed. He should have known what I needed. He should know better. That's a bunch of BS, and that's a cop-out, and that's just not true. Because the only one who should know better is you, and you don't know better. And that is why this program is so important, because what happens, women break up with their husbands, they think it's all on him. He should know better, he should know better. They find the first man who gives them breadcrumbs, and they fall in love with him, and oh, he's texting me, he's telling me I'm beautiful. Give me a break. Of course he is. That's the honeymoon phase is always the best. And then you go right back into a guy who's just like your ex-husband, but he might look different, talk different, I don't know, be from another country, I don't really care. But the point is, you're still the same. So if you're still the same, you're going to attract the same. You're the one that has to change. You're the one that's changing, not him. You attracted him. If you don't change you will attract him again. It's like attracts like. And for you to not do that, you have to be honest and go into that foreign land, which is MMI, and fix your own stuff. And some people just don't want to do it. They don't want to do it. They'd rather meet a man that has money and take care of them. Listen, a free country can do what you want, but that's being needy. Now you're looking for a man with money versus looking for a man to compliment you. I don't know, me, that's, the ironies of ironies is that when you do complete yourself and you address your neediness to then just have needs, and I'm not saying the needs are met, but you're meeting them, meaning now you're starting to make money. All of a sudden, when you start making money, I'm not saying like your money issues are resolved, but you start feeling better about yourself. You start being hopeful. You start having confidence because now you're doing something that's giving you the reward of what you need. So you see how you're starting to meet the needs. You may have not met them, but you're meeting them. It's a fascinating concept. And I know for a fact that I attached to my husband for safety, for security, for survival, for identity, for esteem, for everything. Because none of those were met for me when I was little. None. My father was a big-time playboy. He cheated on my mom their whole life. He told me women were CUNTs and whores and sluts. And I used to argue with him. I'm like, I'm a woman. No, you're not that. I'm like, but you just told me that, like we'd have the whole dialogue. So what limiting belief do you think I had about myself? It was just, it is what it is. Now, mind you, you see how I talked to you about it? I'm not upset. I'm not angry. I'm not crying because I did my work. It doesn't upset me. It doesn't trigger me. It doesn't make me, see, if you're going to talk about something and you start crying, then you know that's something that needs to be resolved. And the way you resolve it is yourself. We're not blaming dad. I could blame my dad all I want, but that doesn't help. I have to fix me. I have to address my needs. I have to validate myself. I have to take myself away from that anchor, from that, you know, horrible event. That wasn't my fault. But we all somehow think it was, because when we were little, we didn't understand the difference. I don't believe in cutting your past and moving forward. I think for a woman that is simply impossible. I don't believe in that. I know a lot of men say that. Maybe it works for men. Men do not create life. Men do not have periods. They don't breastfeed. They don't have ovaries and uteruses and periods for 40 plus years. They don't understand us. We have an element of mysticism, intuition, maternal instincts, being a mother, being givers. And we're very sensitive because we have emotions, because we create life. So that's what we need to do. Honor all those elements. Address your own needs. Make yourself not needy, but having needs. Be clear on those needs. Make sure they are met by yourself. And the most amazing thing happens. You will meet a great man. You just will. Because you've just taken yourself from a vibration of dysfunction to a vibration of function. I'm not saying it's perfect. I'm not saying it's pretty. I'm not, you know, maybe you're in a 2-bedroom apartment. Maybe you're working at Walmart and doing doggy walks. I don't really care. At least you're friggin' doing it. And that's all that matters. All right. Now we're done with the neediness, guys. Whoever wants to be done can be done. I want to talk about my program that starts in 9 days, where you get to see me on Zoom and I get to kick your tushy on Zoom in a nice way, in lots of mushy love. So I'm going to share my screen. Let's see if I do this right. Share screen, Chrome tab, Fearless Woman. I think this is it. Fearless Woman. I hope I did this right. Did I do it right? Yeah. Yay, I did it right. So guys, you can go to Fearless Woman. Where is it? fearlesswoman.co, the program, and it's all there. We start a week from Monday. So a week from Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern, we have a private Facebook group just for the program. I will be going live there every Monday at 7 p.m. So what's cool about that, I'm going to scroll down here so you could see the outline. Where is it? Here's the Facebook thing. So what's cool about that is anyone who joins the program, so my Yummy July women will get to experience the program again with a Facebook Live, because once you're in the program, you're in it for life. The only difference is the Zoom. The Zoom is what makes it eccentric and unique to you, but you will always be part of the lives and you'll always be part of the actual Academy platform. So every Monday, as of a week from Monday, we're gonna go live. I'm gonna basically, it's 8 weeks. I'm actually doing it for 9 weeks because I just realized that one of the weeks is Thanksgiving. So I'm adding a bonus week. That week of Thanksgiving, it won't be the program, it'll be gratitude, and we'll talk about that too. So let's just kind of, okay, so not only do we do the Facebook Live every Monday at 7 p.m. that I will basically be talking about the module of the week, then every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern, we go into Zoom. And for those women that have been in the Zoom support group, on the Mondays, and now we have it at night, it's similar but on steroids. It is on steroids because now it's very hyper focused on you, the concept of the week, and triggers that you're experiencing. And we really, really dive deep. This is a minimum of 2 hours, sometimes 3. I really want to make sure that we're nurtured here, and that whoever needs to talk really talks, and we dive deep. Like, if you start saying X, I don't take X as enough. Like, I'm going into Y, Z, A, B, C, 1, 2, 3. Like, we're diving deep. We're getting to the root, because all these triggers that we have when we get upset and we say things, there's a deeper meaning to it. So the Zoom to me is truly what's intimate in this space. It's what is life transformational. There's no doubt about it. Oops, sorry guys, where am I? There I am. So that we're going to do every Wednesday, and that's only for anyone who signs up again is in the Zoom. So in January, I'm going to do the program again in January. In January, it's going to be almost double the price. Every time I'm doing it, I'm increasing it. I have already the number that I want to get to. I probably won't get to that figure till at least 2022. You know, as I'm building my brand and I'm building, you know, my niche out, because, you know, I just showed up this year. So as long as you're in the program, you will always get the lives in Facebook, right? You'll always get these lives in Facebook, and of course the Academy, which I'll show you. It's the Zoom that will always be the extra component, and you're getting that included, obviously. So the people in July will not get the Zoom. You will. Anyone who signs up, of course, for that. The people in July, though, can get it if they want to. I've already spoken to them about that. So you get a private messenger group. We're going to create a really cool messenger group, because you guys are always going to be connected together, because the sharing that happens in this group, we go deep, because it only works when you share. It only works when you share. If you're not going to share, it's not going to work. So like the Zoom support group we do Tuesdays and Thursdays is great, but you know, you got 3-4 minutes on the platform to talk, and it's more talking about what's going on that week. It's not really sharing true core issues of limiting beliefs that aren't true and why they're there, and to do the hard work of validating your worth and breaking through those fears and seeking empowering beliefs and recognizing all these things you have done and that you are worth it, and really coming whole with breaking through fear. I mean, it's big stuff. And by the way, it's not overnight. I know I've condensed it into the 8-9 week program. It took me several years, but you're staying in the program. And I'm going to maintain the program now that we're going into January. I'm doing lives now every week. That's what I'm going to be doing. I'm really, you know, brainwashing you to be a fearless woman. So we're going to have, again, the private messenger group that we'll create as the women come in. We're going to have, of course, the private Facebook community. I also have this, you know, again, it's not for everybody. I have an eCourse, How to Find a Job Like a Pro, that I sell for my recruiting business. I give that to you for free. There we got some famous ladies in the house, Lisa and Terry and Karen, that gave me beautiful video testimonials that you can listen to. You can scroll down here, read about my bio, but I want to, and these are more testimonials, but I want to hear. So this is what the program is going to be all about. Let's just make sure everything is working. So basically, I made it 9 weeks, by the way, so this may not be updated, because I just, again, realized a couple of days ago that the 8th week fell on Thanksgiving. So I don't want to finish the program on week 8. So we are throwing in a 9th week. You're stuck with me for 9 weeks. I think December 3rd, October 5th to December 3rd. So week 1, we're sharing our stories. Again, I do the intro on Monday live in Facebook, private group, and then Wednesday Zoom, we all share our stories. Not the, you know, I was married for 20 years and I have 2 kids. I'm talking what caused the divorce? What was your trigger? What made you finally leave? What's your revelation? What is it that you want? Where are you today? Where do you want to be 1 year from now? Because that's all I care about. Where you are now and where you want to be one year from now. The Fearless Woman Transformation Program is your bridge. It's just that simple, because I'm putting in thoughts and ideas in your head that I'm telling you right now you never thought about. I only thought about this after I left my husband. No one talks about this stuff. No one talks about it. No, because the elephant in the room is us, and no one talks about it. We talk about him and her and mom and dad and definitions and diagnoses and all that bunch of BS. I don't care about that. You know, when I left my husband, I remember calling my psychologist. She's well known where I live. And I remember telling her, it was literally the day after I left him. I was crying, I think, for 3 days straight. I couldn't stop crying. I said, I want to know 2 things. Number 1, I want to know how many sessions we're going to be. I said, because I'm not interested in a psychologist to be my best friend. I'm interested in a psychologist to help me understand one thing: why I put up with this for as long as I did. And she said, okay. She said 12 sessions. We were together 15. I don't want a psychologist for my best friend. I know there's people that have seen a psychologist for 5 years, 6 years. Zagazon, good for you. If that's good for you, I'm happy for you. I'm not judging you. I'm just telling you that's not what I want. I don't want that. I don't want to sit there and talk about what those definitions are all about. I want to know why this happened to me, why I tolerated the dysfunction, why I put myself in such a point of compromise and misery that everyone was more important than me, because my point B, which is where I am today, is that I'm the most important person. I come first. I'm at the top of the list. What I do goes, period. Because I will never hurt my feelings again to make you happy. And you know what? It takes a lot of guts to think like that. But honey, when you do my program and you go from point A to point B, you're going to be like that. And you know what's the most amazing thing? When you get to that point of strength and confidence and fearlessness, because you don't want to hurt the person, but you now know better than not to hurt yourself. How many of us have done things for other people and compromised ourselves to make them happy, and then we feel like crap afterwards? We feel taken advantage of, we feel compromised, we feel we were hurt, duped, whatever the case may be. I am tired of that. I want to grow and elevate myself. This program will do that for you. Okay, sorry, now I went on a rant. So we're gonna talk about stories. So this isn't just about, like I said, hi, my name is Revi, and I was married for 20 years to a narcissist, verbally and emotionally abusive husband. I want to go deeper. Like the last couple of years, I couldn't get out of bed. I was fantasizing about love. Like, oh my God, like this is where the magic begins. Then we're gonna talk about the little bit that we talked about today, right? I spent half an hour or so talking about, are you needy? And there's all these things that we talk about. I have you take an emotional quiz. I work on how, who are you? This misconception that we have with Prince Charming and this perfect love affair. I talk about the anchors. These are serious, how can I call it? An anchor? I call it an anchor, actually. It's the perfect word for it. I remember when I made it up when I created the program, because it's stuck. It's stuck. It's got the noose around your neck because the anchor is trying to pull you down. But you're not letting it pull you down. You're fighting. Little Revi in that anchor in that past is not going under because she's a strong chick. But you can't ignore the anchor. And we got to address facts and fiction from that. This is where we use, it's not even on this list, something called an F3 model that I created. Karen talks about it in her testimonial. It's good stuff. And you can absolutely handle it, guys. We're grown women. I'm not a psychologist. I'm not a therapist. I'm not a PhD, blah, blah. I'm a woman that had massive dysfunction growing up from a Latin father and a mother who was so weak she couldn't stand up for herself. And I friggin' broke through it. And I want that for you. Because if I can do it, an immigrant to this country who came with no money, a father who behaved the way he did, and marrying the husband that I did, and I can show up here today, you better believe you can do it. Absolutely. So this week 2, we talk about the neediness. Then week 3 is fear. Fear is total paralysis, but fear is also fake. Fear is paralysis, but fear is fake. Some fear is real. COVID is real. COVID is real. So of course with COVID, you want to be careful and be conscious that's real. But fear of, I'll be the laughing stock of the community. Fear that, oh my God, he won't like me and he'll break up with me and he'll stop talking to me. All this nonsense is not true. We break that down. We talk about the fear. We talk about it. Being alone versus being lonely. Sense of urgency, what that means. In my program, I'll explain to you. This is to me the most important concept. This BS that you can't make it by yourself. What a lie. What an absolute lie. So we talk about all that in week 3. Week 4, know your worth. We talk about love languages, boundaries, who's in charge? Who's in charge? You or them. How do you be in charge? How do you tap into your confidence? How do you tap into your worth? How do you make those decisions? How do you cope with hurting their feelings? EQ, I talk about emotional intelligence, EQ. I talk about MMI, being selfish, and how to get over this uncomfortableness. We talk about all that. And then week 5, being a fearless woman, self-expression. These anchors aren't holding back us anymore. We're able to be. We just be. This is who I am. I don't care what you think of me. I only care what I think of me. And I care about this guy, what he thinks of me. We talk about being the queen. We talk about 3 questions to live by. This mind, body, and soul connection is powerful. Then week 6, we talk about money. You know, money's a big deal. I did a video on money in TikTok. You should see the comments I got from women. You know, well, you can do it. I can do it. Like, I'm an immigrant to this country. I got my green card when I was 24. I was illegal here. I was selling flowers on El Cajon Street and 54th in San Diego, giving my mom money for groceries. So that's not true. Anyone can make money, whether it's earning it, figuring out, selling stuff, doing stuff, errands. I don't care. There's a lot of ways to make money. And this is something that's so important, because this is a real neediness issue of women, that they latch onto a man to fix. Big problem, not sexy. Week 7, men love sex and beyond. I mean, I'm talking about orgasms and beyond. I'm talking about, you know, truly being authentic, free in your authenticity. Vetting, dating tips, like this whole concept of focusing on the why, the concept of real orgasms, what that's all about. See, a real orgasm means you're completely, passionately, and madly in love with yourself. That's how you have an incredible orgasm. When you're so worried about pleasing him, you're in a point of lack. When you're so worried about pleasing yourself and him pleasing yourself, you're in the point of abundance. And that's the point B. We go from our lack, point A, and the program takes you to point B. And again, this is all such foreign stuff for you that it's not happening overnight, but it's okay, because we're gonna go again and again and again on it. And like when you do Zooms with me and we do the lives, I'm constantly reinforcing it. And what starts happening, you're gonna start getting it. Like, no one's really talked to you about this stuff. Oh, she updated it. I'm so happy. She did update it. Okay, so week 8 is Thanksgiving. So we're gonna that's gonna be just a light week. We're gonna talk about gratitude. You know, I actually might just keep that permanently. I actually love it. I actually think we're gonna keep that permanently. Very important to talk about gratitude. Very, very important. So we spend that. And then week 9 is takeaways, goals, action plans. You know, I brought you into my nest, and now you are spreading your wings and you're flying out of your nest. Okay, that is the goal. This is my eCourse, you know, the On Your Marks. It said if you're somebody that's looking for a job and you need to interview and all that, it's a robust program. I have interview prep sheets, etc. And there's more testimonials down here. Obviously, more of that. Let's talk about a couple of things that you may have a concern. If you don't have the time, I'm going to tell you that I disagree with you, because you make time for what matters. So if you're telling me you don't have time, that means it's not important. So, you know, I always say, like, I remember with my boyfriend, if you want to see me, I don't care how busy you are, you're going to make time to see me. When it's a priority, you make the time. When it's not, you don't. So just be honest with that answer. Just be honest. Whether you do it or not is not up to me, it's up to you, but be honest with your answer. The money component, I'm going to tell you right now, this is not a cost. It is an investment. When you put money into your retirement account, it's an investment. When you buy a house and you make a mortgage payment, it's an investment. When you go to the doctor and you have, you know, your pap smear done, that's, you know, taking care of your physical body. When you go to psychiatrist, psychologist, that's taking care of your brain. When you're working with me as a coach, you're taking care of your emotions, your heart. So it's an investment in your body, mind, and soul. It's not a cost. A cost is buying a pair of shoes at the mall. A cost is, I don't know, going on vacation. That's a cost. So understand that this is an investment. These thoughts, these concepts take you from where you are today to a true fearless woman. See, people think that, it's all on him. People think the problem was him. That's not true. You're part of the problem. You got turned on by this. It turned you on because being with a dysfunctional relationship, it made you feel validated in a dysfunctional way. It made you feel needed. It made you feel safe and protected in a dysfunctional way. So now he's gone. You think you got rid of the problem. You just need to get strong and self-affirmations and gratitude and do all those things. But if you don't really believe it, then it's not going to work. If you don't complete yourself, it's not going to work. And then what happens? You're just going to find a same type of a man. So this is when the predatory man is attracted when you're not doing the real work. So this not investing in this program, to me, will cost you your future. That to me is how critical this is. That's why I'm showing up. I could have maintained my recruiting business, but I'm like, I cannot read one more resume when this is happening in front of my eyes. And guys, with all due respect, it's not even just about you and me, it's about our kids. I know now with what I've gone through, my sons are totally different. They're totally different. I lost you guys here. Hold on one second. I thought my phone was off. There we go. My sons are different. And the reason my sons are different is because I'm different, because of what I did. Guarantee period. Most importante. 2 weeks, guys. I give you 2 full weeks. All you gotta do is send me an email. So I think it's October 18th. You don't like the program. It doesn't work. It's not for you. Whatever it is. Revi, it's not for me, please refund. I go to stripe.com and I hit the refund button. It takes me 2 seconds. So, you know, the investment puts you all in, but know that if it's not working for you, if this is not what you want, if you were in it and it's not for you, it's not clicking, you got 2 full weeks. You get 2 full weeks for it. And by the way, I give you access to my entire academy, which is, I think I'm gonna, hold on guys, let me remove this. And hold on, wait, share screen. I want to show you the academy. This is my Fearless Woman Academy that I have. You get access to all of this right away. So this is Are You Needy? The module Fear. This is all the stuff we just talked about. Know Your Worth. I have all these videos on there already. The Fearless Woman, Money, Men, Love, and oh, this one I have a lot. I have the dating tips, blended family, sex and orgasms, vetting, you know, so I've done all these videos already and you get access to that, guys, right away, immediately. So even in the first 2 weeks, I don't even hold that back. And every one of them has a worksheet. Let me pop open a worksheet. Let's see if it'll populate it right here. And there's questions that I ask you based on, so we talk about what are your top 4 unmet needs, what are your love languages, your personality. We talk about the Myers-Briggs type. I mean, there's a lot of information. We talk about all the stuff in the worksheet and I have you posted all on in the private Facebook group. So like here is the boundaries video. You press play.
What's up?
What's up? There I am. So that's what that is. So you get access to that right away, guys. So I'm gonna take that out. All right, so I just wanted to walk you through the whole program so you see what's out there. Will this fit if we were left by our husbands or instead leaving them? I think it'll fit for any woman who has lack. Any woman who has lack, because what happens if your husband left you, you somehow think something is wrong with you. You somehow think you weren't enough. You somehow deep down think like, what's wrong with me? So, not to mention the damage that it'll do for you for trusting men in the future. I actually think this program is for any woman, not just a divorced woman. And I may even, you know, offer a second program next year. I've had a lot of women reach out to me and say, you know, if I'm not divorced, if I'm single, or if I'm married, can I do the program? This is actually for any woman because it's really a program of worth. This program is a program of worth. It's a program of tapping into your inner power, tapping into your worth, and releasing the fearless woman you were born to be. And from that place of strength and growth and abundance, you'll find true love. And I can't imagine the pain of, you know, if your husband left you, but I can imagine what you must be feeling. I bet deep down you question, what did I do? What was wrong with me? You know, what could I have done better? That's incorrect. That's got nothing to do with anything because that's on him, right? Those are his issues. And the most important thing, because you're so heartbroken, because you're so sad, the fear is that you're going to latch onto a man again for validation of your worth. So really the Fearless Woman Transformation Program is yeah, it's for sure about meeting a great guy, you know, because ultimately that's what, you know, it's human nature. We want to be with a great man. But the big picture is that we want to tap into our own worth. And we want to be honest with who we are, be free with who we are, and be absolutely in love with who we are, and not worry about what other people think. Because when we worry about what other people think, we put their feelings here and our feelings down here. I do the opposite. Okay, so if you're interested in the Fearless Woman I'm just going to put in the website here again. The program. We start in 9 days. In January will be more money. So I strongly recommend, if you're interested in doing it, to sign up. Use MMI. Oh, MMI as the coupon code to get 50% off. An error occurred. Okay, MMI coupon code on the checkout. Okay, guys, I'll be going live much more, talk about more concepts of the program, of a woman's mindset. I want every woman to be absolutely madly in love with herself. I want every woman to own her worth. I want every woman to not be ashamed of or embarrassed of who she is. I want every woman to just love their light and own it and be open-minded. A lot of us make up these silly rules in our heads, and we make up these, the rules are just simply not true. We say this is how it's going to be, or this is how it must be, and it's absolutely not true. I work very hard to actually have you have no rules, because in order to be fearless, you must be free. And the way you're free is not to have rules. I'm not talking about, of course, you want to pay your taxes and work and be a good person, but I'm talking all these things like he should be X and I should be Y and he should be this and I should be that and he should be that way. I don't want you having those triggers. I don't want you to have those emotional pains. It should be like when somebody behaves poorly around you, you should be laughing about it, not be triggered by it. That's true self-manifestation, in my opinion. All right, guys. So that was it for today. Oh, I'm going to be doing a live masterclass on 5 dating secrets on how to find true love. Because I know there's a lot of women here that are divorced. So I'm going to be doing that masterclass. That's going to be a lot of fun on Zoom. So I'll be posting that in the tribe as well, so you guys can check it out. And I'm going to see you around this weekend. And don't forget, Tuesdays and Thursdays, we have the Zoom support group, which is yummy. And then my program starts a week from Monday. Okay, guys, so if you're interested, sign up. And I will see you around. Okay, big kiss. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a great evening.